Yeah, today we'll be talking about core making processes. They say core are generally said to be sand used in making hollow interiors of castings. So cores are sand you use, it's a separate molding sand. After you have done your molding processes, we are still coming to that anyway. We are not yet on mold. Today we'll be talking about core making. So they say core are the sand used in making the hollow interior of a casting. So apart from the molding sand, you also have your core sand, which you use to make your hollow interiors of your casting. So if you have a casting that you need to make that requires a hole inside, why it seems to be difficult if you use machining technique to achieve the hole. In foundry, it requires for you to create a core sand separate you can use to get those holes that you cannot machine easily. So they say sometimes core are also used to shape those parts of a casting that are very difficult or very costly to produce directly from the pattern. So for example, overhangs or backdrafts where it becomes difficult to withdraw the patterns from the mold. So most times when you have a molding process that might be difficult during withdrawal, you might get a call to get those castings achieved. So we'll be looking at what are the types of cores. So as we're talking about the cores, we'll still be showing you pictures of some sketches of core types, of the types of core that we have. So the first type of core we'll be talking about is we have horizontal cores. So they say what is horizontal core? So how can you define horizontal core? So it is the commonly variety of cores. The common variety of cores is mostly in cylindrical form, and it's placed in the mold horizontally, as shown in the picture above. These cores are given support at the two ends, and thus they rest on the core print provided. So in the picture, I hope you are seeing the core print and the core, how is it horizontally placed on the mold, having the cope and the drag mold and the sand. So that's how it looks. The next one we'll be talking is a vertical core. So they say these cores are similar in shape to that of the horizontal core, so it's almost the same thing, but this one stands vertically on the mold. As shown in the picture, you're seeing how the vertical core is, and there you can see the mold. You can see the core itself at the middle. You can also see the sand bodies. So the core are always placed vertically. So they say you can usually a taper is provided on the top as well as the bottom side of the vertical cores. So the next core is your balance core. So these cores are used when a blind hole along the horizontal axis is required. So as you can see the balance core in the picture, you can see how the balance core is, where the sand, the mold, and where the cores appear. So that's how it always appears in the mold. So when you want to achieve a blind hole of casting, so that's it. So the another one is your hanging and cover core. You can see how it's been done. They say these cores are used when a core casting is to be completely molded in the drag by ramming the entire pattern in the drag. When the core, while hanging from the cope, does not have any support at the bottom in the drag, it is called a hanging core. So this is how the hanging core is, how it appears. So there you see, it's almost closed inside the mold, like it's almost closed, like it blocks. They say they mold it with the upper one, so they mold it with the cope. the upper box, which is the cope. So that's how it is. So the other one is the wing core. So in the wing core, they say these cores are used when the axis of the desired hole does not coincide with the pattern line of the mold. Either the core is required to be placed above or below the pattern line. So as you can see, this is how the hanging core is, and it comes from the pattern line and inside the mold. So that if you want to achieve that type of hole in a casting, most times you use a core which is called the hanging type of core to achieve such hole. Now we talk about the core sand. So they say, what is a core sand? What type of sand do you use for cores? What is a core sand? So they say the environment in which the core exists is much different from that of the mold. So the two, both molding sand and core sand, is not always the same type of sand. In fact, the core has to withstand the several action of hot metal, which completely surrounds it, and therefore special considerations have to be given. While selecting a core sand, these considerations as follow. So there's so many considerations you have to put in place in your mind as you want to consider getting a core sand for core making. First of all, you have to think about the permeability of the core sand. The core sand must be permeable and must be sufficiently high as compared to that of the molding sand. So the permeability of the core sand is supposed to be more than the permeability of your molding sand. So you call what is permeability? The ability of air to pass through the grains of the sand during casting. Hot air, evaporation of heat formed from the molten metal during casting. So it has to have a permeability, which is the ability for those hot air to be able to pass through the core and still leave, not hiding inside the mold in the castings. So those things normally cause defects if you do not consider the permeability of the sand you use in making your cores or your molds. The second one is the core sand should not possess such material which may produce gas while they come in contact with molten metal. So the sand you use should be a sand that will not have a reaction with the molten metal during casting. So the sand is supposed to be able to accept heat of the molten metal. Then the other one, they say, as the core are subjected to a very high temperature, the core sand should be highly refractory in nature. So what is refractoriness? The ability to withstand heat. That's all. So a core sand or molding sand is supposed to have those ability to withstand heat no matter the temperature. So it will not be something that when you are doing your casting, it will affect the core sand in making it to collapse inside the cavity. Does it make sense? So another one, the core sand should be collapsible in nature. So even if it has high refractoriness, it's supposed to be able to collapse after casting, so that you can remove it from your casting and achieve your finished product. Because this property will ease the cleaning of the casting. Yeah, so that's it. The main constituent of the core sand are pure sand and a pure silica, and the binder, pure silica sand, and high refractory materials. So in getting a core sand, you're supposed to have pure sand. You have to have your binders. You have to have pure silica sand. You have to have refractory materials you can add also to your core. So they say, what are those materials you use in your core? Like, what should you add? So you talk about the binders. So what are the binders you use in achieving your core? Core is not just one sand. So it's a combination of different materials you can get core. So those binders you add to your pure silica sand, those additives. So we'll talk about it now. So they say the first one is the core oil. So they say core oil consists of blends of various ingredients, mainly the vegetable oil, mineral oil, animal oil, other such oils. Among the vegetable oils, the most important are linseed oil or soybean oil. In the mineral oil group, only those oil which polymerise on baking are preferred. Rosin is used to increase the collapsibility as well as bake strength. Generally, the grain strength of oil bond core sand is low, whereas the bake strength is sufficiently high. So when you want to get the grain strength in an oil bonded sand, so they say the sand have to be lower, while the bake strength should be high. So I know you understand. Core making process is quite a short process, but that's how it is. Please subscribe and like, share, support the movement. Let's get this done. Thank you.